Have you ever seen a rodeo? Or perhaps caught a glimpse of the horse shows at your local state or county fair? Maybe you've even seen them on TV or heard about the famous events such as the Kentucky Derby. While all of these different events are done while riding a horse, they each have a different riding style. There are two main styles of riding: English and Western. Each rider will train extensively for their style of riding, um, and to be able to compete in the shows and events involved in them. I personally have trained for several years now in both English and Western riding and had to learn about the major differences involved to be able to ride in each of these styles. The first major difference in these styles is going to be the equipment that's used for them, also known as the tack. It is also probably the most visually noticeable difference between them. The first part of the tack is going to be the saddle, which sits on the horse that the rider then sits on. The English saddle is smaller and more lightweight. This also allows for more direct pressure from the rider because they are closer to the horse. It was originally designed with racing in mind because then the horse is not carrying excess weight. Whereas Western saddles were originally designed with ranchers in mind, where they would spend hours a day on the horse. So they are heavier and bulkier to allow for more comfort and ease on both horse and rider. The next part is the bridle, which sits on the horse's face and connects to the reins that the riders control with their hands. English bridles allow for more subtle and direct use with direct pressure on the horse's mouth. However, Western riders have a looser bridle because they will focus more on seat movement rather than rein control. And then finally, there's the stirrups that the rider's feet will sit in. English stirrups are smaller and more flexible, allowing quick release in case of a fall, whereas Western stirrups are heavier and wider, designed for comfort and stability. The riding tack has a lot of differences between each style. With all of these differences in the equipment, it's not a surprise that there are differences between the training involved as well. The first part is the posture alone that a rider uses. English riders are going to sit more tall and try to have a lighter seat so they can move more fluidly with the horse, whereas Western riders are going to have more of a relaxed posture and sit deeply in the saddle. The defining trait of English riders typically is what's called posting a trot. Trotting is when the horse is starting to run and it's very bouncy. English riders will do what is called posting, which is where they will sit and stand in time with the horse's trot. Western riders will instead sit this whole time. This is one of the moments where I prefer English riding because it is a very bouncy movement and it's very difficult to sit it the whole time. One of the defining traits of Western riding is called neck reining. Um, that is where they will put the reins on the horse's neck to direct them where they want to go instead of pulling on the face. English riders tend to use more direct control on the reins and bridle, which is why statistically overall, English riders have higher rein tension. These riding differences may seem small and insignificant, but they can make a huge difference on both horse and rider. With all of these differences in just the equipment and training used, it's not a surprise that there are major differences in the day-to-day use of these styles and in the shows and competitions that they're involved in. English riding, what